It is the following week, Wednesday. We are finally going to get started on episode 2 of working on the small plot combine. We're going to bring you guys along. I hope you enjoy. We have the little winter Steiger backed in to the main shop. It is 4:47. We are quitting for the day. And tomorrow we will start back up again. We have some rear tires to change, and then we will get started in the engine compartment and figure out why the unit is not running. Hello everyone, welcome back. We have the little winter Steiger tucked into the main shop here, as you saw yesterday. We have the 100-year-old wood stove chugging away, keeping us nice and warm. The first thing we are going to focus on with this girl is the wiring. It looks a little less kosher than I would like. Doesn't look too bad. I do see some inline fuses and things, so I'm sure that it's as good as it can be. We have a couple of rear tires to replace, and the issue with the wiring on these is that new updates come out several times throughout the lifespan of these, like this grain gauge, and different computer programs and computers come out. Like we have an old receipt style printing computer. So these things, basically, as soon as you get them on the combine, they are obsolete. And so our mission for this is to check it over, lube it up, inspect the belts, clean it so that it can clear customs, and get it down to our brethren south of the border. It's got to go down to Chile. Like I said, these tires are a little worse for wears. And just a general tune-up, look over, check over, things of that nature. Not everything I'm going to film on this, like removing the hood, pulling the tires. We have to kind of be speedy on this. It's not going to be as in-depth as, say, the dozer rebuild or the combine rebuild that Charles is doing. So with all that being said, I'm going to get started on pulling the tires, pulling the hood, and we're going to bring you guys along as I have time. This tire has certainly seen better days, and I think I found the issue. Yummy. This tire is more of the same Carlisle brand. I don't know what kind of nasty schmoo this is, but it clearly ate up the tires and the rubber on the inside. It almost looks like oil of some type. Crazy. We'll get these off to the tire shop and get them replaced. We have the shields and the tires removed. Got it setting on blocks. And you can see a little better now. There is just a glut of wiring. As far as I can tell, everything has inline fuses, so as jank, let's say, as this does look. It's actually protected, so that's good. What I do not like is these gator clips, and I'm hoping you can see all of the soldered and shrink tubed connections. We have a positive gator clip and a negative gator clip, and if I connect this, you can hear the fuel pump up in the front of the engine compartment. We're going to go there now. We are up in the front of the engine compartment. We have a fuel delivery issue, let's say. When we bought this combine, we were told that, by the truck driver, we were told that the previous owners had a pop can full of diesel fuel and they were gravity feeding the engine. And we were not exactly quite sure of what was going on with that. The unit has a full tank of diesel fuel. And so on further inspection, once we got the unit to the warehouse, I found the world's coolest fuel pump. It has flame tape on it, which I have never seen, and the hose is cut off. I'm guessing this was shoved down in the pop can of diesel fuel, is my guess. You can see here we have some hackery going on. Fuel lines are old and brittle and breaking up, deteriorating. And this is the 2-wire clear granny cord, extension cord looking stuff running to the gator clips on the battery. So they were definitely having some kind of fuel delivery issue. The unit has a full diesel tank, and we were told by the trucker that they drove it on with gravity feeding out of a pop can. So we fired the unit up and ran what little bit of fuel was left in the lines through the injection pump, and it died after 30 seconds. So I have seen this unit run. We are going to replace that fuel pump because I'm not sure how good it is, and we're going to get new filters. I've already got the air filter pulled, and see what we can do and see if we can get the old girl fired back up and running out of the original factory diesel tank. I have found our fuel line. It is just sitting here. It did have some electrical tape over it, but there doesn't appear to be a petcock on the bottom of the tank. So what I'm going to do is take a rubber-tipped air blower and blow into it. And I have my vice grips here preset to cap it off. I'm thinking there might be a booger or something in the bottom of the tank, is my hope. And I'm thinking blowing back into it will hopefully remove that. I'm going to open this up and show you. We're like 3 inches from the top, so it's kind of weird that we don't have diesel fuel coming out or something. Looking down in the tank here, you can see we are not too far from the top. Trying to rock it back and forth for you to see. And actually, I think you might even be able to see to the bottom there. So it doesn't look just too bad in there. It's good red diesel. It doesn't appear to be all gummed up with algae, so we'll see what happens. Let's blow some air in there. Definitely heard a pop in that. Gonna cap that off in case it starts flowing all of a sudden, but we're higher than the tank, so I kind of doubt that that would happen. Just gonna do it again. You guys can obviously see the bubbles, but so we're definitely open. It is the following week, Monday. I just got back into the shop here, and I have our fuel line capped off. I had the battery charge all while I was tinkering on it the previous week, and we will get into that just a little bit later. Over here, we had a delivery from our local Napa. I have a new engine oil filter. It is a 1191, and I was able to track down a brand new air filter. This one honestly looks really good. A little discolored, but nothing to write home about. Sometimes these companies will do a filter on the machine, let's say, and they will make sure that it doesn't have any markings on it so that it is proprietary and you have to get it through them. Very, very annoying when you live in the real world. So I got this Napa Gold filter, a 6415, and I put that part number on it so our brethren down in Chile can find it easier. And then I date these filters using a label maker when handy. This is a Dymo Label Manager 160. This thing is bulletproof. I have 2 of these. They are what I use day in and day out, and they're just very simple. Pick yourself up one of these. You will never regret it. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get our air filter installed. The clickety-clack fuel pump is still in transit. It's supposed to be here in the next hour or 2. And then once we get everything running and warmed up, we will put the oil filter on, change the oil. And then I'm having a little bit of trouble running down the hydraulic filter. I have one coming from Germany, but I'm not sure exactly when it will be here, especially with the current situation going on. I took the liberty of opening up the canister. Replace our rubber back nut. Grab the handy dandy little Knipex. Give this a couple of turns. There we have it. We have our new air filter installed. Like I said, this is the engine oil filter. We won't touch that till we get the machine good and warm. And now I can move on to getting this reinstalled. I pulled it off of there to inspect, make sure we didn't have any mud daubers or anything like that in our air intake. We have the battery in the combine. I charged this, as I said earlier, while I was tinkering on the rest of the machine. Last week, it has sat all weekend without the charger on it, and I want to test this because this battery is dated for 2017, so it's getting up there in age. I used to run the Schumacher brand battery tester. It was a load tester, and it had the coil that would heat up on the inside. I had 2 of those, and they went bad, I believe, within a month. And that was kind of frustrating. So I picked up this new digital battery tester. These are supposed to be the cat's meow. We're gonna learn together. We're gonna hook it up to this and test the battery and see what it says. We're going to hook up our gator clamps, maybe. Gator clamps have a very strong spring, I like that. Says we are getting 12.66 volts right now, just when I turned it on. That's pretty awesome. We're gonna check. The battery location is in the vehicle. Battery test. This is a regular flooded lead acid battery. Gonna check our cold cranking amps. This battery, it's set on 550, and this battery is a 650 cold cranking amps. And enter. Says we're testing. Says good battery. I like that. That's pretty simple. Wow. Okay. Awesome. I believe it says we have 684 amps. I'm guessing that's the cold cranking amps in the battery. So first time using this, pretty nice. I like it. Wasn't sure if the LED screen was coming through, so I wanted to get a shot of that. It says good battery and 684 amps, 12.64 volts. I like that. That's pretty simple. I was always a little intimidated by these, but it appears to work well. So I would say that's a good battery, having held charge all weekend without anything on it. I'm now here in the operator's platform. I'm going to push and hold the brake, and we're going to fire this up. Of course, the unit is not going to run without a fuel pump, but I want to just crank it over a little bit, make sure everything is apropos, and we'll see what happens. Oh, wow. We even got a cough. I'm going to definitely say that the engine will crank over. That's pretty awesome. That is pretty encouraging. We got a cough out of the little diesel engine. So far, we have made sure that our battery is good. We've changed our air filter, inspected our hose, making sure nothing was behind the air filter, gonna get sucked into the diesel engine. We have our tires off. We've dismantled the combine partially. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this episode of getting the combine back in shape. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.